I've told y'all on numerous occasions how Fox News is absolute trash. And one of the most despicable individuals there is Jesse Waters. This is what this sexist asshole actually said yesterday. Listen to this crap.
It's been 3 years since Kamala boasted about being the, quote, last person in the room when Joe Biden decided to go ahead with the Afghanistan withdrawal. Jesse, people consider you to be the last person in the room because that's because everybody keeps trying to ditch you.
Yeah, they just left.
They just left.
Right. But you understand the reference, Greg.
Yes.
Is that she was somehow involved in the decision, and it was her wise guidance that he was relying upon. Listen, she was the last in the room in Afghanistan. She was the border czar, and she was the deciding vote on trillions of inflationary spending. On those three most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? And this is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander-in-chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters.
Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
So Janine Pirro, Jesse, take it back. Dana says, Harold Ford says nothing. And then at the end there, this little, oh, I didn't mean it in a sexual way, this little smile. Oh, yes, you did. And you know what? Suzanne Scott, the CEO of Fox News, won't rebuke him, won't call him out, won't admonish him, won't take him off the air. This is the kind of stuff they encourage. Nola, here's what everybody needs to understand. And this ain't even September yet. You're going to see far more sexist, misogynistic, and yes, racist attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris the closer we get to the election. It's going to happen on Fox News. It's going to be on social. It's going to be on other conservative platforms. It is going to happen.
Yes, it will happen. And I needed to take a deep breath because I am so bothered by that clip. I am bothered by that clip as a Black woman in foreign policy who knows generals, who sits at tables with them, and to portray them as if somehow they wouldn't listen to the commander in chief, you know, to have some sort of sexual innuendo and then giggle about it is also insinuating that somehow the generals will do what to her if she's the last person in the room. OK, so it's problematic from the positionality of them making a joke about it, talking about her being the last person in the room, and then also making generals seem like they are sexist and they will do some sort of harm or sexual violence to VP. That's what my ears hear as a woman. OK, so that's the first part. The second part is regarding Afghanistan. I've been talking a lot about this because, you know, the Afghanistan case means a great deal to me. I worked on that mission for 2 years after the withdrawal. And what I've been trying to remind people of is how we got to where we are in the first place. While they were sitting there making gross, violent, sexual jokes, because that's how I interpreted it, they didn't say anything about the Doha Agreement. They didn't mention anything about what we gave up in that deal in turn for no terrorism. And let me sit here and tell the American people right now, there are 24 terrorist organizations operating in Afghanistan sitting here today as we speak, not because of President Biden and VP Harris. It's because of the Trump administration. And I'm not saying that to be divisive. I am saying that as a policy person. I am saying that as a person who was once a global terrorism expert. This is my wheelhouse. So for them to give, you know, their viewers and their watchers part of the story, which is what they do, and then to laugh and joke about generals not, you know, respecting her and, you know, possibly wanting to do some sort of sexual harm to her, the way in which they created that visual for their viewing audience, not only made her inept, made her ineffective, but then you just completely demeaned her and took away all of her agency, all of her strength and intellect. And while I know that's going to continue, Roland, until to the election and beyond, that right there was a different level of growth. And I really hope somebody at the Pentagon contact Fox News and let them know that was not okay, because it wasn't.
And see, what this does, Larry, it contributes to this notion that a woman cannot sit at the table, which is pretty stupid because you've got a woman vice president. We've had multiple women secretaries of state who have been in the Situation Room, who have been at the table. You've got women governors who have overseen the National Guard. But this is the kind of sexist, ridiculous stuff that happens in this country. And this goes to also show you why this nation has yet to elect a female president.
It's just a very important point, and we should highlight that, various nations throughout the country, Liberia, Germany, UK, currently Barbados, among others, have had women as leaders of the government. So the United States, as you noted, is behind the majority of other countries in the world. And that's because of sexism. Let's just call it for what it is. Also, as you played that clip, Roland, let's refresh the memories of those who are watching. That's a cultural issue with Fox, because they have a cultural problem with sexual harassment.
Yep.
O'Reilly was fired. They had several lawsuits. They had to file.
Oh my God! Bill O'Reilly, Eric Bolling, God used to be at CNN. It was just on the tip of my Ed Henry. I mean, we can go off-air people as well. A whole lot of folks. They had to pay out a lot of money for sexual harassment at Fox News.
Yeah. So this is a cultural problem that they need to address. And as Nolan noted, this is going to accelerate the closer we get to the election. And unfortunately, Black women always don't have faced the brunt of this, whether it's in this on TV or corporate America or in higher education. Let's be honest, wherever sisters are and wherever they excel, there are often those, particularly white males, who struggle to adapt because their beliefs are rooted in these ideas about sexist ideas about what women can and can't do. So we need to continue on this platform to call it out for what it is, and as said, it's sexism, and we won't have anyone talking about the VP like that.
Yeah, and it plays.
Really talking about the Putins of the world, Roland. That's who he's really talking about. He's talking about those so-called strong men of the world. That's what he really wanted to say, but was too cowardly to say.
Well, and again, Mustafa, if you're a man sitting at that table, you immediately check that fool for that kind of crap.
If you're a man involved, if you're somebody who just goes along because you want to keep getting a check, then you allow that type of foolishness, that trash, to continue to be spewed and move forward. We often highlight, different media organizations and entities that are falling short. We did that earlier on the show. Often people will say, well, that's just Fox News. That's just part of the culture. That's just the way they get down. The question becomes, when do we reclaim our power? Even though probably the vast majority of folks are not regular Fox viewers, you are, in many instances, probably contributing and purchasing from the advertisers who support this type of stuff.
Oh, first of all, if you have cable, a significant part of your bill is going to Fox News.
Yeah. So we've got to find ways of actually addressing these things, because if we were just going to ask for their humanity and their character to move into the 21st century, it's probably not going to happen. You got to, unfortunately, hit people in the pockets, and it has to come in multiple ways, and it has to come from folks not just saying, well, that's just too bad that they said something like that, to actually getting active and taking a look at who are the advertisers and stop giving them your money. And then, of course, having those conversations also with cable companies, which I know based upon a number of shows that we've talked about here, a number of times here on the show, that it's not as always easy in dealing with some of the cable companies. But we have to raise our voices to what our sets of expectations are and what we will allow and what we won't. And until we do that, you're going to continue to have these types of folks saying these types of things and demeaning folks who come from our communities and others.
Well, absolutely. And it should be called out. It should be blasted. And again, executives at Fox News should have the guts to actually say something and do something about it. Unfortunately, they have yet to do so because guess what? They consider him to be one of their stars. And so they allow this kind of crap to go on. And of course, the other male and female hosts at Fox News and don't say anything. And so you'll never, Harris Faulkner is not going to say anything. Will Cain is not going to say anything because they are silent. They will sit here and allow that nonsense to go on.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us.
We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.